This is the Sony XAV-9500ES high-resolution digital media receiver. The ES series is Sony's new top-of-the-line products with the highest build quality and refinements for unmatched audio and video experience. That's their promise with this new ES lineup. Is it any better than their other head units? Well, we are about to find out. The box itself, it's pretty big, but that's understandable for a 10.1 inch receiver, and as you can see, it's nicely packed in two level smaller boxes, I would say. Sony always packs a lot of wire harnesses and cables and everything you need to install this device, which is a good thing. And on top, as we can see, there is the wire harnesses and the user manuals. And I'm surprised in a good way that Sony got rid of the Type A USB connection and they switched to a full USB-C connection, which is way faster than the traditional one. And also what's new in this unit is gonna be the GPS antenna. Don't forget to install that because you will need it in order to use the Apple CarPlay on Android Auto wirelessly. Yes, you heard right. Sony finally made available wireless CarPlay and Android Auto with this unit, but you know, it doesn't come cheap. It retails for almost $1,300. But hopefully this unit paved the way for wireless capabilities in all their next gen receivers. But anyway, let's go back to the unboxing, and here is the 10.1 inch high definition resolution with a 720p. Of course, it's not full HD, but that's better than WVGA or VGA displays that Sony made before. This is their first HD unit, and as you can see, it features an anti-glare finish. It's not that glossy, somewhere between glossy and matte. It's also a gapless display. That means the LCD is bonded directly to the glass touch layer. That results in a precise touch experience. Looking on the top side, we have a couple of buttons: home, volume, previous, next, and voice button. There are two additional buttons on the bezel on the bottom of the screen. Very easy to miss. But those are touch buttons, so it's not physical buttons like on the top. So this is the back side. It will connect to your head unit pretty easily. Just slides in the I will show in a second. Also, you can adjusting horizontally, vertically. You can tilt it a few degrees. That's pretty helpful for adjusting for a better view. And this is the back of the base, nicely color-coded ports. This is the front where the screen slides in, and it can be secured with two screws. The process of sliding in, it's pretty straightforward. It just slides in, I guess, or I don't know how should I say this. And once you have it slide in, this is how it's gonna look. I'm just trying to be careful because it's not secured and it can fall off. So I better be careful with it. But anyway, this is how it's gonna look from the back. Of course, those rails they can be covered. They provided plastic covers that can be seen in the unboxing segment of this video. And finally, we get to power up this unit and see how long it takes to boot up, and it's just over 6 seconds. Not bad. And also I'm curious to see how long it takes to bring up the Apple CarPlay. Not bad. Another 6 seconds, so a total of 12 seconds and you are all set to go. Now the display feels really smooth and fluid. I really like it. This is the first Sony that is responsive, and probably one of the most responsive units on the market at the moment. And keep in mind, this connection is wirelessly, so the screen feels very fluid and smooth despite the fact that it's wirelessly. Usually on wireless connection, those units tend to lag behind, but this really feels like an OEM screen. Now there is a little bit of lag here at the maps, but I'm not concerned about this. But the way the menu feels here, it's incredible. I really like it. It really feels like you are using an iPad or something like that. Really nice. I'm surprised. Now the home button will take you to the main screen here. Now the volume buttons, they feel pretty nice, and the user interface, it's pretty discreet. Now going back to the Apple CarPlay, if you press the voice button on the top right corner, it's gonna bring up Siri or Google Assistant on Android Auto, and as I said before, there are two additional touch buttons on the bottom of the unit. They don't have any markings, just those lines. The left one, it's preset to take you home, and the right one, it's a preset to mute. But you can assign new function to those two buttons. We will take a look in the settings later. And this is the new improved UI of the Sony. Pretty minimal, I really like it. And let's go do a walk through the settings. And we have device connection. This is a list of devices that you can add, and to connect it wireless is pretty easy. Just follow the instructions there, and that's pretty much it. About the sound here, we have a 14 band equalizer. That is pretty good. It will give you control over your music, allowing you to do a fine adjustment of each band. That is pretty nice. Subwoofer level, it can be turned off and adjusted +10 or -10 depending on your preference. Now we have a listening position. Pretty nice user interface here, easy to understand for everyone. Really nice illustrations, and you can do also time alignment for each speaker. You can also change from centimeters to inch, whatever works the best for you and whatever you are familiar with. But I really like that illustration there, make it easy to understand what you are doing. Now we have a balance and fader. Again, very nice and clean interface. Sony really did a good job redesigning the user interface and the design of their illustrations. Now if you go to advanced, we have another additional options here. We have a crossover, which is finally pretty nice to see on the Sony head units. Usually they don't have this advanced, and each side it's nice and color coded, so it's pretty easy to use and understand. And you have another equalizer here, which is more advanced also for each speaker. Now let's go back here, and we are gonna get lost here in the sound, so many settings. But moving on to the customized, the custom keys are those two buttons on the bottom, and you can assign new functions to them, volume or next, previous, whatever it's on that list. You can change the source. You know better what to adjust if you want to do that. Then there is wallpapers, just a small selection of wallpapers, but you can always introduce your wallpaper there by having a USB stick. So going to the camera here, you can flip the image on the cameras on those three inputs. That is pretty nice. You have three inputs of a camera, and also you can adjust the parking lines or just get rid of the lines if you don't like them. And also the rear camera interruption, that is another cool feature to have. On the application tab here, it's one thing that worth mentioning is the iData Link Maestro, which that will let you control the factory equipped functions and features, but you will need to buy an additional module in order to be able to use this function. And system, daytime demo mode, the steering wheel settings worth mentioning here. It can be turned off and on, but you probably need an adapter to set up this, so do your research for your car. System sound and volume here is for each individual sound source, and that can be easily adjusted. That's a common option on all the head units, I would say. I've seen that on many of those. Now there is a few additional options here, like a dimmer. It can get pretty bright, and I like this because this is a nice and great screen. You can also set to turn off the dimmer on with the headlights as well. Now on the 11 setting there, it can be probably a little bit too bright at night if you drive on a dark road, but that's just me. I'm a little bit sensitive to the light, especially this is a big screen. It can bother people. Now there is a key brightness here. Those are the LEDs illumination for the buttons on top, and those two at the bottom. Microphone adjustment, this is a new option for me. I haven't seen it on other head units. It's pretty interesting. It can be set for an RV, for a small car, or a medium-sized SUV. That will probably increase the gain of the microphone depending on the size of the cabin. Now always good idea to check for the software update. It can be updated two ways, but always check on the Sony's website for the latest software update, so you can have this unit running smoothly with the newest softwares on the smartphones as well. Now, as I said before, this is the main screen of the unit. Unfortunately, you cannot change the position of the apps or change that clock style. That's just a default. They cannot be customized in any way. Tapping on the all apps, it will just bring the cameras selection there, devices, and the phone. If you touch the phone app, it will just take you to the Apple CarPlay phone app, or if you don't have that connected, it will take you to the Bluetooth. Now, radio has a small and minimal interface, which Sony is known for, doing pretty simple and clean interfaces for their head units. Not too many options here. It's pretty simplistic here. It's on the left, it's a list of presets that you can set, and also you can manual tune the frequency if that's what you want. It's pretty easy to do. There are a few other radio options here. If you click on this, it should show a list of the radio station, but in my case doesn't show because I don't have the radio antenna connected at this time. Now, going back to the display, I want to point out a few things. The display is pretty nice and clear, vivid colors. When viewed from an angle, it kind of loses its shine. The image will be a little bit darker on the screen, but that's not a big deal. However, pixel density is pretty good. You cannot really see a pixelated image. As you can see, this is an image and it's pretty sharp, so has a pretty good resolution, as I said, and pixel density. That's in conclusion, this unit is great, but it's pretty plain in terms of features. It's missing web link or screen mirroring and the HDMI port. Overall, it's great for the audio quality, wireless CarPlay, and great user interface. If you enjoyed this kind of type of content, please click like and subscribe to my channel for more similar content.